Staff at Deary Brothers Ford on Mormon Trek. Steve Anderson, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Mike's E-Keys for Cars. Tavern Blue on the Coralville Strip. Also brought to you by GT Car and his crew at Supple's Building and Remodeling. Supple's Flowers, home of 1-800-800-ROSE. The Midtown Family Restaurants. Harty and Stocker Jewelers, 101 South Dubuque Street, downtown Iowa City. Perfect gift is in that store. Diamond Dreams Sports Academy. Senior Benefits. Premier Automotive in North Liberty. Dirk Sterner Taxidermy. The Ox Yoke Inn and the Amanas. Streets Maintenance. Dr. Lance Forbes, Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids. And Big Dog Tech Solutions. Back from Vegas. You evidently had a great time there. You drove up in a brand new Lamborghini. Very impressive.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't get the color I wanted, but you can't have everything in this life, right?
How did it go?
Oh no, it was fun.
Okay.
It was,
okay.
Weather was 40 degrees warmer than this.
Yeah.
Food was good. Company good. Not richer than when I left. But, on the other hand, it was a lot of fun.
You had a good time, man. Also,
had a good time.
Pat Harty's here from HawkFanatic.com, and on the phone, we've got Coach Don Patterson.
A rare Friday appearance.
Hi, Coach.
Good morning, Pat. Good morning, Tom. Welcome home.
Thanks, Donnie. It's always good to talk to you. And we got kind of a bonus session with you with the Week 15 of college football, and boy, doesn't it seem like it has gone fast, or is it just me?
It has gone fast. It's amazing how quickly the seasons come and go. And I'm sure you'll agree with me, Tom. As you get older, it seems like they go even faster than they once did.
Yes, they do. For better or worse.
Football compared to basketball. I mean, basketball is a grind. There's 2-3 games a week. It's football. You got 3 months, 1 game a week.
Yeah.
And boom, next thing you know, it's over. But, well, Don, we got a lot to cover today in this Rare Friday appearance. Let's start with, I know you said you've done some analytics on the Big Ten championship game. I'll tell you, I did not have Penn State versus Oregon as my
not at all
matchup, but I think most people are under the assumption or the belief that Oregon's going to win this game. What do you think, Don? What's your gut feeling when you break everything down? Penn State hasn't won a game like this in a long time. And do you think they can do it?
Well, you're right. Their history, or to be specific, James Franklin's history,
yes,
is that when the big games roll around, he finds a way to lose them.
Yep.
But as you know, that's changed a little bit this year. And hats off to Penn State for having an outstanding season. My goal in talking to you guys today is simply to provide our listeners with a little more knowledge about both teams and maybe a little bit of an idea of what to look for that should make the difference in the game. And no surprise, it does project to be a close game. You'll find this very interesting. There's a thing called the Football Power Index, and they have a computer prediction model, and they played the game on their computer 20,000 different times. You can imagine Penn State versus Oregon 20,000 times, and the computer says Penn State wins 53.7% of the time.
Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting. I wouldn't have
More
thought
than half. That surprised me.
Yeah.
But you've always heard that term, what's the smart money saying? Las Vegas says Oregon is a 3.5-point favorite. And they call it smart money for a reason, right? That's
yes.
Generally is the good indicator of who's going to win the game. So the bottom line, the computer prediction model says Penn State. Vegas says Oregon. And my goal is simply to figure out what matters the most and figure out who has the edge. So if you're listening at home and you want to write this stuff down, please feel free to do so because I think it will make the game a little more interesting to watch. The first thing I did is simply look at scoring offense versus scoring defense and then the differential on the part of both teams. Oregon, probably as you'd expect to hear, Oregon has the more productive offense. And round numbers, 35 points a game versus Penn State's 31. So a 4-point edge goes to Oregon per game, of course. On the other hand, on defense, Penn State has a slight edge. 14.7 points per game given up by Oregon, and only ever so slightly lower, 14.3 given up by Penn State.
3.5.
So when you look at this, I'm sorry?
That means 3.5 should be the spread, right? If you use those two numbers.
It's funny you mention that, because if you look at the scoring differential, it's 3.6 points difference.
Yeah.
20 points per game spread on the part of Oregon, and 16.4 by Penn State. So you're right, it happens to coincide with what Vegas says.
Yep.
Now let's get into the real analytics. That didn't have anything to do with analytics. As you know, I approached this game just like a bowl game, and it was easy for me to decide how many games to include. I took 9 games from each team, and logically, of course, those are the Big Ten games that they each played.
Mm-hmm.
So in those 18 games, was there any parameter that identified the winning team all 18 games? The answer is, yeah, there is one, but only one. Total offense identified 18 winners and no losers. So when you look at it like that, the team with the most yards generated in this game will win the game. So let's just look at the two total offenses. Total offense is a little bit, ever so slightly better on the part of Oregon. They're at 448.5 versus 442.8. So basically there's a 7-yard differential there. 6, I should say, a 6-yard differential. But on defense, on the other hand, Penn State has more than a slight edge. Oregon gives up 284 yards a game. Penn State gives up 267. So again, when you look at the differential, Oregon outgains their opponent by 165. Penn State outgained theirs by 176. So advantage Penn State when you look at total offense versus total defense.
Boy, those numbers are close, though, Don.
It's almost a push.
Yeah,
but Don, if you take, let's say quarterback, Dylan Gabriel versus Drew Aller. I mean, is there?
Got to give the edge to Gabriel.
Yeah, don't you? I mean, do you give a decisive edge? I mean, a significant one, or do you think that will be maybe one of the reasons Oregon wins the game? They just have a better quarterback.
Yes, I do think they have a little more big playability in their offense.
Especially playing inside, too, don't you think? That's the other thing I thought about is Oregon looks so fast when they're on, like, turf and inside to where that should help them. And the other thing that was interesting, Don, is one team's from the East Coast, the other's from the West Coast, and they're playing in Indiana to win the – isn't that just –
There's your nationwide conference.
Isn't that, yeah, there you go, nationwide conference, Don.
Yeah, you're right about that. But I will agree with you with this. Penn State, I think, would have a better chance playing outdoors in the cool air.
Yes.
Advantage in ideal conditions, I'd have to give again to Oregon.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. There are 3 other things to look for. So we've already talked about total offense. Who's going to generate the more yards? That's probably who's going to win the game. Because it's predicted the winner all 18 games.
Wow, that's amazing.
Let's move on, though, to other categories. Is there anything that's close to being 100%? The answer is yeah, there's 2 things.
Can I try to guess one of them? Is one of them rushing yards?
No, it's not, believe it or not.
Really? Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting because so often that does show up, as you know.
It's like being in algebra class.
But here's the 2. Critical down conversion success identified the winning team 17 out of 18 games.
Wow, okay. Interesting.
A 94% win.
All right.
And since we're just talking about the other category, too, I'll go ahead and mention this. Edge on first downs identified the winning team 16 out of 17 times. There was one tie in there. So those are both significant. If you had an edge on critical downs, whoever you were, you won the game in 17 out of 18 cases. Edge on first downs, 16 out of 17 times the win. So they're both important. So now the obvious question is who has an edge on critical downs? We'll go through that now. Oregon is better offensively than Penn State, not by a lot. Oregon converted 53% of the time, and I'm including third and fourth downs here.
Okay.
Penn State converted 50% of the time. So a 3-point edge on offense favors Oregon. And here's the rest of the story. on defense, the obvious question, well, that's only half the equation because how well did Oregon's defense do versus Penn State's defense? Oregon's defense was better. Oregon only allowed the opponent to convert 31% of the time versus Penn State's 37%. So if you look at differential again, Oregon had a 22% edge on conversions. Penn State had a 13-point edge on conversions.
You see why Oregon's favored by 3.5 points.
Oregon State has the advantage on critical downs. Last but not least, let's go to first downs. Believe it or not, they both gave up exactly the same number of first downs.
Wow.
They both gave up 145 first downs. The difference, though, is on offense. Oregon earned 211 first downs versus Penn State's 198. So advantage on
it's only one
downs,
per game, though.
Made first downs. Oregon's plus 66. Penn State's only plus 53.
That's one
Again,
first down
Oregon
per game.
But it seems like any edge, though, goes slightly to Oregon almost, especially on offense.
Yeah, except for the one that did predict 100% of the time who the winner was, and that was simply total offense.
Yeah. Well, so wait, doesn't Oregon ever? Isn't Oregon ever?
Penn State will beat them on total offense, but on these others, Oregon has the slight edge.
Okay, so Penn
State playing indoors, as we've already discussed.
Penn State is averaging more yards per game. I thought Oregon was.
Penn State, Oregon has a slight edge in terms of yardage. Yes, 449 to 443.
And then that's the 18 out of 18 indicator, right?
Yeah, that's the one that was 18 for 18. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I think on paper it looks like it's going to be a great game.
It sure does. Now I have a question. All right, now the amount of first downs proved to be crucial in what, 16 out of 18 or 17 out of 18 games?
16 out of 17 games.
Okay, now we've also ascertained by your analytics over the course of the season that explosive plays and super explosive plays also are very important. But though first downs tend to be frequently grinding out or can be longer term drives, whereas super explosive plays or explosive plays happen quickly. So
yeah, I can talk about. Let's go ahead and talk about explosive plays because you already heard me say. I think Oregon has an edge on explosives.
Not surprising.
In Oregon's 9 games, the team that had an edge on explosive plays did win 7 out of 8 times.
Okay.
And we know, of course, that winner was in all cases was Oregon. So what that says, if they won 7 out of 8, one time there was a tie. We know who won that game. It was Oregon because they won all 9 of them. One time an opponent actually beat them on explosive plays, and yet Oregon still overcame it. Right?
Was that Ohio State?
I have to go back and check. I'm not sure who it was.
All right.
That's the most obvious candidate would be Ohio State, yes. Because we know that Ohio State's also good at generating explosive plays.
Here's one for you, Don, and I don't know how this doesn't figure into analytics. What about coaching? How, when you go into a game, I mean, Dan Lanning, James Franklin's obviously a successful coach. You don't get to her. So how much does coaching come in? Like when you're thinking about who's going to win this game, how much consideration do you give coaching in the moment?
I would certainly give it some. As we've already discussed, Penn State's history is that they tend to lose important games, showdown games. And Oregon, I do recall, you remember this play maybe, I believe it was in the Ohio State game. Or it was a close game, and Oregon still went on to win the game, obviously. But they really made a dicey decision, and it did not work. Oregon, somewhere in there against someone in the Big Ten, ran a fake punt that failed. Or it was either a fake punt or a fake field goal, but it was a fake punt. And it was a daring call, and it did not work. And they still overcame that, too. So the only reason I bring it up, that's an example. That was a decision made by the head coach, I promise you.
Yeah, he will take chances.
Dan Lanning, from being a bold play caller at that moment, it almost cost him a game. I can't recall who it was against.
Okay.
That's going to bother me. I have to go back and find out who that was against. That failed trick play.
But he does think outside the box.
Game that did not work.
Yeah, no, I've watched him enough to know he'll take chances. He'll go for it on fourth down. He's a pretty aggressive head coach as far as when the game's being played.
Yeah, you're
play
right.
calling and what have you.
And one time it should have bitten him in the butt, but it didn't. They overcame it anyway. It was a close game, so that's why I think it might have been Ohio State. Maybe not. They had another close game or two, as you recall.
Well, they almost lost at Wisconsin.
They went to Camp Randall, right, and struggled to beat Wisconsin.
I was not impressed with them that day. I watched a big chunk of that game, and they just were out of sync. Their offense just wasn't in a rhythm yet. They still found a way to win, but as we know now, Wisconsin's not a very good team. So, but no,
and
Wisconsin
both shown vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, and you forget about this maybe as the season plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Way back, I believe it was in September, Penn State won a game in overtime on the West Coast. Remember that?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's a good point. Yep.
So, yeah, Penn State's dodged some bullets, too.
Yes, they have. So what's your feeling, Don? I mean, put you on the spot. What's your gut feeling? Who do you think's going to win?
Well, if you put a gun to my head and said pick the winner, I'd have to go with Oregon.
I probably would, too.
Yeah.
Even without the gun to my head.
The favorite for me is Penn State.
Yeah, sure.
Not because I have any kind of love for James Franklin. I don't really care for James Franklin. He's not my favorite coach. But as you've heard me say before, Andy Kolnicki is their offensive coordinator. He was one of my GAs at Western Illinois about 20 years ago. And, of course, I'd like for Andy to be able to win a huge game on a big stage.
Yeah, no, I can see that. My nephew went to Penn State, so it'll be good. It should be a good game. I wanted to ask you, Don, the Iowa State-Arizona State game. What's your gut feeling on that? I know you haven't done much, but just your general.
I haven't. I really hardly seen Arizona State at all.
I have not seen him play at all this year.
I saw him play their last game.
What a great job he's done, though. Is his name Rob Dillingham?
Yeah, I am aware. Talking about being good in the early season versus being good at the end. Arizona State, I think, has been on a tear for the last 4, 5, 6 games.
They have, yeah.
Yeah. So, in that regard, you got to say momentum favors Arizona State. And again, if it was in adverse conditions, I'd definitely favor Iowa State. But playing in the Cowboys dome, even in Dallas, it's going to be perfect conditions.
Yeah,
because they're indoors. I'd have to say I'm concerned that Arizona State's going to find a way to beat Iowa State based on ideal conditions. But
I'm really looking forward to the game.
I hope not. I certainly, as you know, I have a dear friend that's their defensive coordinator.
Yes.
And John Haycock, excellent coach.
He is.
I also have great respect and certainly feel that Matt Campbell can coach with anyone in college football. So that's going to be another very interesting game.
Yeah, it will be.
I hope they're not on at the same time. Please tell me they're not.
No, Arizona State, Iowa State's on at 11.
And
okay, good.
And then Oregon, Penn State's on at 7 at night.
7 at night, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
To think,
so you'll be able to watch both.
To think, weren't we were there last year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it mixed. I get the 23 and the 21 ones mixed up because they were so similar.
They were.
Here's another really perplexing stat about this game.
Hungry.
Bear with me. First quarter scoring. Here's what made that interesting for me. The team that wins, excuse me. As you know, I have difficulties talking sometimes. Bear with me.
We all do. First
quarter scoring in Oregon's 9 games, the team that won the first quarter won 7 out of 8 times. There was obviously one tie in there. We know who that winner was in 7 out of 8. That, of course, was Oregon, and obviously one time they overcame a first quarter deficit. So they were very good. That was a good indicator of whether or not Oregon wins if they won the first quarter 7 out of 8 times. Believe it or not, Penn State only they struggled in the first quarter. They won 3 times and lost 4 in their 9 games.
Interesting.
Yeah, it really was. They actually have a losing record based on first quarter performance. They have a history of starting slowly. So, incidentally, one of the few times they won the first quarter happens to be the game that they lost to Ohio State. They actually had a 10-7 lead on Ohio State after 1 quarter and still managed to lose the game. So, but in general, they're playing from behind after 1 quarter. Again, 3 times they won the first quarter. 4 games, they lost the first quarter. let's be a little more specific. Let's just add up first quarter scoring. Oregon in the first quarter won the quarter 75-26. That's kind of what you'd expect. A pretty substantial margin, plus 49 points in the first quarter. Penn State, on the other hand, they did win the first quarter, but by a slim margin. 44 points scored versus 38 allowed. So they were plus 6 versus plus 49. Oregon is clearly more likely to win the first quarter, simply because historically they've started faster than Penn State. Again, advantage Oregon. I would expect after one quarter, based on numbers, Oregon should have at least a 7-3 lead, if not 7-0. And Penn State should be having to play from behind.
Okay, you college bettors, there's your pick of the day. First quarter, Oregon over Penn State. Cha-ching. Thank you.
And you've also heard me say, I have an awareness sometimes of what Vegas is saying, but I'm never going to give one penny of my money to betting on a college football game, ever.
There you go.
No.
So I'd like to discourage all those that are thinking it's easy money to go out and lay down the value of your farm to Penn State.
Well, yeah, and just
or to Oregon.
Just look at the Vegas skyline. That'll show you how easy it is to bet.
Yep.
I mean, you just came from there. Winner or loser?
Pretty close to the center line.
More people lose, though.
Yes, they do. Absolutely,
I've always said they're building those beautiful casinos with somebody else's money.
Yeah.
You betcha.
That is definitely true. What do you got, Captain?
I just wanted him to kick his mic off.
Oh. Hey, Don, before, I wanted to talk with you a little bit about Hawkeye football before. They had the signing day press conference on Wednesday. It was typical, Kirk's excited about all the. I mean, what a coach is going to say.
We got our butts kicked in recruiting
this is the worst recruiting class we've ever had.
Yeah.
And then they said that they're going after quarterbacks. Miller Moss has been connected with Iowa. What's his name? The kid from Texas A&M. His name at Wigman. Yeah, Connor Wigman. So if you're Tim Lester. It seems like you can go one or two paths. You can throw all your eggs in a bat and try to get a big name from the portal if you think you can, or you can maybe get like a younger backup somewhere who was a 4-star but who's not. I mean, what do you think they should do? What would you do? Because obviously they need. I mean, Cage gone, Jackson Stratton. I mean, they need help in the quarterback.
We're not
room.
Loaded in the quarterback room.
Or when do you decide if Brendan Sullivan is our guy? Because isn't there a risk? And trust me, I'll get to this question. Isn't there, if you go too hard after a Miller Moss, isn't there the risk you might offend someone like Brendan Sullivan and he might leave and you could end up with nobody? Is that, or am I overreacting to what could happen?
Well, there's always that possibility, I guess. For Brendan not to leave, Brendan needs to feel for sure that the coaches have been very, very fair with him, with the opportunities they've given him. I don't know how he feels about all that, but I would suspect he feels pretty darn good about the way he's been treated at Iowa.
I would think so, too.
By players and teammates.
Sure, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also haven't
seen
it.
I know Brendan a little bit, and he certainly seems like he's made a good transition into Iowa football. I think he's got a lot of good friends on the team.
It seems that way, yeah.
He certainly earned the respect of his players and coaches. And I think he feels good about how he's treated. I'd be shocked if he felt anything other than a lot of admiration and a lot of loyalty to Kirk for the opportunity he's been given. And I think it would be logical that he be shown that kind of cooperation by with just a little bit of luck he'll earn over these next couple of weeks the privilege of starting for us in a bowl game. I suspect he will.
Yeah.
Maybe he's already been told it's your job to have. I don't know, but he certainly presents us with a little better opportunity against any random opponent, simply because he's got more escapability, I think, than Jackson does.
But can he stay healthy?
Yeah, that's the question. I know he and I talked about that a little bit. I reminded him, listen, when you pull the ball down and run it, if it's an early down, you have to be sure you don't get stood up. You don't. It's not any question of your courage, don't be heroic on first and second downs. You know, you got to get on the ground before you take hard hits. And the other reason to get on the ground and have your pads down, I'm not talking about necessarily sliding even, just have your pads down. Ideally, you do slide or run out of bounds, and you take no hit at all. But one other reason you've got to keep your pads down is because you don't want to get stood up. We all remember that he got stripped from the ball. In that last, well, let me think.
UCLA
Who was it
game,
against?
first
It was, it was against UCLA, wasn't it?
Yeah.
3
It was the loss, so you can't afford to cough up the ball, and he did, and he was very well aware. Of course, I'm sure Tim had already covered that with him. I just wanted to remind him, you've got to protect the ball. So do not get into a tug of war over the football. You got to get on the ground. If they stand you up, they have a chance to get the ball out.
My question, though, for Tim Lester, and have they seen enough of Brendan Sullivan to feel he's the guy next year as long as he stays healthy? And should that impact how they go about looking for more quarterbacks in the portal? Because they're not going to if Brendan's the guy, how are they going to get somebody who's the guy in the portal to come here? To me, it's just a delicate balancing act.
But we also don't know which of the quarterbacks are going to stay. Are any of them going to go into the portal? Or Marco Lyon is?
Well, they all could. But
sure they could.
I'm talking about who's going to play on the field. I mean, I'm not saying I don't care about the third and fourth teamers, but I'm more wondering when Lester's going out into the portal now, he's not going out there to find a third or fourth teamer. He's going to – when do you think Tim will – or do you think he already has decided, Don, Brendan's our guy – and we'll try to supplement that in the portal, or do you think the jury's still out? I mean, to me, it's a tough situation to be in.
Yeah, here's how I feel about it, and I think Kirk might feel the same way. His expert, of course, on quarterback play is Tim Lester. I think Tim's obligation is to go out and find the best quarterback for the money. And by that I mean, just because a guy's got a huge reputation, if Tim actually evaluates him and decides, you know what, he's good, but I'm not sure how he's going to fit our culture. That's one potential problem. Or maybe he's got a huge arm, but I question his mobility a little bit. You know, there aren't any perfect players out there, so there's something wrong. Even if it's a minor deficiency, there's something wrong with all of them. So the question in my mind is, what's the best value that you can buy? And ideally, it's a quarterback that maybe on a national level is a little bit under the radar.
Okay.
That Tim, in his professional opinion, likes a lot more than the average coach.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I have that kind of faith in Tim's judgment. You gotta. And the other thing that'll do, if he's got a little bit of a lesser name, and we don't give him the story to come here, then maybe Brendan at that point is more likely to feel, okay, they're bringing in a guy that's going to be competition for me, and may the best man win. So in the examples you've heard me talk about from the previous year, Minnesota took a guy from New Hampshire. Well, it turned out he was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Broxman played well for him this year.
You know, Don, I think the best example maybe is Luke Altmaier. He did not play.
I was going to bring up, and you heard me bring him up before.
Yeah, he did not play much.
I watched that kid play a lot of football this year, and there were times when he got knocked around a lot, and he handled that adversity really well.
But he came to Illinois.
I'm sure Illinois and Illinois fans are very, very happy with Luke Altmaier.
Yeah, he came to Illinois the same time McNamara came, 23, 24. Altmaier completely different. Under the radar, back up at Mississippi, just looking to play somewhere, whereas McNamara was the savior, and it turned out to be completely different. Altmaier was a much better quarterback. Not even close.
Well, that's the equivalent of going to the shopping mall and trying to find the best bargain in the shopping mall.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it, but I promise you my wife would be able to. So she's an expert on shopping, and Tim Lester's an expert on quarterback play.
Yeah. I'm with you. I feel confident.
I just have a lot of faith in Tim's judgment. I'm sure he's going to put a lot of thought into it. Miller Moss may not be the answer. Or on the other hand, maybe he is. Obviously, SC decided to go a different direction. But I do respect Miller Moss for having played. Another good example is the guy from UCLA. he had some starts last year, had modest success, but it turned out he played okay for UCLA. Not, he wasn't all Big Ten, but he certainly played okay.
But Don, here's the question: if they go all out for Miller Moss, he visits. We're all writing about how he's going to come here and resurrect Iowa's past. Does Brendan Sullivan stay? Do you think he would say, "Okay, bring it on"? To me, I can't see that happening in this age. But maybe...
Miller Moss is the same guy that got beaten out at Southern Cal.
Yes.
So I think it would just find exactly how that all played out. I don't know. I'm not a Southern Cal fan, so I don't know exactly what happened with Miller Moss. To my knowledge, he certainly played okay. He played like a veteran quarterback. He didn't get a beat necessarily. Maybe he wasn't as much of a game maker, playmaker as they hoped for.
Well, they were struggling, and I think it's kind of like firing the man. I mean, the quarterback. And this other quarterback is a little better. He's a little more athletic and what have you.
More athletic again.
One thing I've read about
a little bit like JJ versus Cade, maybe.
Well, yeah. One thing I've heard and read about is that Michigan, they're in the running. Michigan's been one of the programs because they want a veteran quarterback to be sort of a mentor for the phenom and ease the phenom in behind the veteran quarterback. But I think a lot of it too, though, is going to come down to money. And Tom, do you think Iowa can compete with the four school?
Can we compete with
Louisville, Auburn, and Michigan?
No, of course not. But it won't necessarily come down to that.
What's the best buy out there in the quarterback market? And maybe it means we don't have to give all our money away to that player, and it gives us some money to work with.
That's what I would rather do.
Exactly.
That's what I would rather do.
How about a game-breaking receiver? How about
2 or 3?
I mean, and even if he gets a big paycheck from Michigan, if Miller Moss's real reason for going into the portal is to find a starting position somewhere, maybe that's going to be the more important inducement than money.
Yeah, and
maybe so.
The scenario that I've heard at Michigan is that he would be the starter, and Underwood would kind of like what Brad Banks did his first year. They'd ease Underwood in. Who knows? It's hard to say, but I've read some stuff where I think money might be a factor with a couple of these quarterbacks. Hey, more power to them.
And that's okay.
You got to get it when you can. Hey, Don, before we wrap, there's another one. Oklahoma State's quarterback, I think his name's Alex Bowman. He just won his appeal for an 8th year.
Oh, my God.
I mean, hey, more power to the guy. I mean, 8 years. I knew guys that took 8 years to get out of Drake, but football had nothing to do with it. It was laziness and stupidity mostly. But 8 years playing football.
Is he the guy that took snaps all year?
I believe he is. Yeah.
State?
I think I've seen him play before, and yeah. So McNamara's appealing for his 7th year. This guy's appealing for his 8th year.
Wow. That's crazy.
I mean, it is wild. That guy's going to be like 26.
It's not right.
Yeah. What do you think about that? You can't blame everything on it's COVID. He gets, everything's always COVID.
Well, I wonder, with this Okie State quarterback, how much of his decision ties into the wife and kids? He's probably got a couple of children by now.
He might have
grandkids.
And I don't know. There may be a ton of NIL money he's getting. When I saw that 8th year, I'm like, wow. That's the longest.
The only thing that worries me about an Okie State quarterback, he's the one that was involved with all those losses. Didn't they go 0 for 9 in the conference?
They had a bad year this year.
Real bad.
Yeah, they went 3-9 and 0-9, I believe, in conference play.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I think that's
horrible year. And let's face it, the quarterback had something to do with it.
Oh, sure. And I'm not sure how much that guy. I just saw the story on Twitter, and I'm like, 8 years. Because McNamara going for a 7th year is crazy enough, don't you think? He's only 25 years old. And you have any idea where you think he may end up? You think he'll land at another Power 4, or what do you think?
My guess, if it were my son, I would be concerned that he might be disappointed with the interest that he's shown.
I agree.
I don't know that, but let's face it. If it's going to be an FBS program, it's going to be one that's in pretty dire need of a quarterback.
Yes, that's a nice way to put it.
And that might suggest that the supporting cast is not that good either.
Uh-huh.
And at that point, that school is going to think long and hard about Cade, because Cade simply not going to be great at extended plays.
No, you're right.
Cade needs pass protection. and if pass protection is going to be an issue for you, you're going to steer clear of McCowan. Yeah, McCowan.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's kind of
McNamara. My God, McNamara.
Yeah.
My apologies to Kate because I certainly know Kate's name. I just got confused.
Oh, it happens to all of us, Don. And, and every time I interviewed Kate, he was nice, respectful. It was fun to talk to. It just didn't work out.
No,
it just didn't work out on the field. That's the only way you can look at it. And I don't wish him any ill will. I hope he can find a home and what have you, but it just didn't work out. And we'll see what happens. I mean, Tom, anything else?
And you've heard me always say the quarterback in Derby gets more blame than he deserves.
He does. You're right.
That applies to Cade.
Yeah, he does.
If we had won 10 games or 11 games, he would get more credit than he deserved.
Deacon Hill, 10-game winner, Deacon Hill. He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't win them.
We didn't win because of Deacon.
I know.
Yes, true.
No, you're right. And another thing I wanted to ask you, Don, I was talking to somebody yesterday. I'm like, and I'm not suggesting it's going to happen, but, I agree with you about Tim Lester. I think it's one of Kirk's best hires. I think he's going to fix things, but man, they better be careful that another program doesn't swoop in and take him away. I mean, or am I too paranoid? Because what he did with this, nobody's making fun of the Iowa offense anymore like they did and the passing games. But I mean, what do you think? I mean, Tim Lester is. I mean, I think Iowa is fortunate to have him, is what I'm saying.
I think so too. And I have a lot of faith, and I'm sure Kirk does too. I'm sure the message to Tim is, you tell me who our quarterback needs to be going forward. Mm-hmm. And by that I mean, tell me who we should recruit as a transfer. So I'm sure Kirk will put a huge amount of stock in what Tim Lester thinks. It's kind of hard for me to imagine we'd take a quarterback that Tim didn't want.
No, I can't see that happening either. Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, Kirk's going to support Tim's decision, I'm sure, because Tim's the expert, and Kirk will be the first to tell you, I'm not as much of an expert as he is.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he should be looking for. He knows what's required to play that position and play it well, because he did it himself. And I think that's going to give us a chance, maybe, to find this year's version of Luke Altmaier.
Find the right guy.
Yeah, and that's what we need to find. We need to find a guy that's not going to break the bank, and yet, for sure, he's deserving of more money than in the end. Or maybe he settles for less money to come to Iowa than somewhere else. Let's not rule out that possibility.
Yeah, that's true. But maybe Brendan...
if they all want to give you a good sum of money, do you really care if it's this much or half more? I don't know if it matters that much. I'd be more concerned about going to the school that gives me that great opportunity to accomplish my goals. And it wouldn't be all about money. You heard me say it never was all about money for Kirk or I when we started coaching. Right. We didn't do it for the money. We did it for the opportunity.
And maybe Brendan
to make a difference in young lives and opportunity to still be involved with the game we both love. That's why we coached years ago. It sure as hell wasn't for the money because we didn't make that much back in the day.
And maybe Brendan Sullivan turns out to be Luke Altmaier next year. We just haven't seen enough of him yet. He didn't get to play enough early.
I wouldn't rule that out because I like Brendan Sullivan. I think he learned a lesson even against UCLA. Yeah, he played quite a few snaps, but it's a learning process. He's less likely to be stood up with the ball now than he was before the UCLA game because it cost us against UCLA, and I know he remembers that. And he's going to take steps to be sure it doesn't happen again.
But, yeah, what Tom brought up, though, I wouldn't be surprised if quarterbacks – I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Jackson Stratton and Marco Lane has left. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to. I haven't heard anything. That's just the world we live in.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's just the world we live in.
It is.
And that's just why you always have to be on the look for quarterbacks, and that's what Lester's doing right now.
And let's not forget, of course, in rare cases you might have a lot of injuries at one position.
Yeah.
And if it's a quarterback, that's absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
To lose a lot of quarterbacks off one team, that's difficult to overcome.
Well, I mean, like this year, we had to go 4 deep in our quarterback core to find Jackson Stratton, or if he wasn't here, we would have had to have a walk-on who wasn't even necessarily playing quarterback.
Well, that's partly due to the freshman that they brought in, they moved to receiver.
That's right.
Yeah, so no, that was a miscalculation. The recruiting of James Reese. Now, in fairness, he committed before Tim Lester was part of the program.
That's right.
So you can't hang that one on Tim Lester, but that was a miscalculation when you bring in a quarterback and he doesn't even make it through his first season at that position. Isn't that the only way you can identify that? That was a mistake.
Yeah, what I know about James Reesar, the husband has Reesar?
Reesar, yeah.
Reesar.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly an athlete, very athletic.
Very fast.
And of course, we always talk about quarterbacks being able to extend plays.
Mm-hmm.
He can do that. His deficiency, as Tim saw it, is he's simply not going to be the accurate passer that we need.
Yeah.
Who knows what the problem might have been? It might have been tied into being able to process fast enough to play college football as a QB. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was simply because he's also got a tremendous upside opportunity at receiver.
Yeah, somewhere else now.
The estimation of our coaches, of course, is let's give him a chance to be a game breaker at wide receiver. And James obviously I'm assuming he's leaving because he'd like to pursue quarterback.
That I don't know. I'm not
that
sure.
would make sense.
His comments didn't really indicate when on his release he's just looking for a new opportunity. Maybe he will. But when I watched him in practice, his throw was not real smooth. His mechanics, it looked a little rough and what have you. So, but I mean, they took a chance and we shall see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, Tom. Anything else you want to?
No. After the dust shakes out with all these, with the playoffs and stuff, maybe we need to.
Well, I think we'll do. Yeah. Let's do a show leading into the bowl game, and then we'll do one after the season. How about? And then we'll do one after Iowa's season, kind of a recap. We'll want to do it that way, Don. Once
sure.
We know, yeah.
And the only other option. If you want to have a show after the national championship,
yeah, we can do that too, like we did last year.
Maybe better yet, a show before the national championship game.
Yeah.
To simply give the listeners a chance to have a little better handle on both teams that are playing for the national title.
What if it's Iowa State versus Notre Dame? Would you like that, Tom?
I'm guessing you're going to go for Notre Dame.
Who would you cheer for? You'd cheer for Notre Dame?
I would absolutely cheer for Iowa State.
I figured you would because of John. Tom, who would you cheer for?
I would cheer for let's go to the movies.
Wow. So you wouldn't even watch? Just out of
I don't believe so.
Out of hate and disgust, you would not watch?
I don't believe I would.
Okay. All right. Well, Don, great stuff. But, yeah, we'll plan on it's either going to be the Relia Quest or the Music City.
Looks like, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be either one of those, and a lot will depend on if the Relia Quest, God, that's hard for me to say, takes Michigan. Michigan's now a possibility, so we'll see. But whatever, we'll do a show leading into that game, the days leading into it, and I'll be in touch with you.
Sure. Do you think it's likely to be an SEC opponent?
Well, yeah. I think it's likely to be an SEC opponent with a bunch of players not playing because they're opting out. Will be like if they play Mississippi. Do you think Jackson Dart's going to play in the Relia?
Probably not.
Or it's going to be interesting to see what roster wise is. That's going to be probably a story at least for the opponent. I don't see a bunch of Iowa guys opting out. I just don't. But who knows?
As long as you're booking.
I would selfishly hope to play Ole Miss, and I'll tell you why. Ole Miss's video coordinator is a guy by the name of Matt Engelbert, and Matt was a student with us way back in time.
That's right.
I don't recall if it was 80s or 90s, but he was there as a student working in our video department.
Yeah, he was there when I moved up here. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
He was there in the 90s when I moved up here in the early 90s. Matt was at the video department. Yeah,
but by then he was probably the main guy.
I think he was the main guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Kirk certainly had him as the video coordinator. Did a great job for Iowa, and then eventually, of course, you know how it goes. You got to pay the bills. You got to find a way to finance college education for your children. So Matt, I know, left for a more lucrative opportunity at Ole Miss, and he's probably got some good stories about Lane Kiffin by now. Just like
I'm sure he does.
He has some about Hayden Fry. I think there's some similarities. Matt and I've talked about it. Some similarities, Lane Kiffin to Hayden Fry. They're both really good offensive minds. Their offense is fun to watch. It'll be a challenge to beat them because they do have good talent.
Yeah, no, they do, even without that quarterback. No, I forgot all about Matt Engelbert. That would be a fun storyline. Maybe look him up and try to get him on the radio if they play. But, well, Donnie, great stuff as usual.
As long as you're booking Donnie to do stuff, I'm getting my knee replaced, and I need somebody to work from 5 to 10.
There you go, Don.
every day
5
in
to 10 in the
February.
morning. What do you think of that?
Captain, I don't know if you can afford me. I'm not cheap.
Well, I am.
Well, that ended the negotiation right there,
I
Don.
better be well compensated because I'm probably not going to have that job very long. You'd probably fire me within a few hours, so you're better off going with someone else.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, leading into the bowl game, the week of the bowl game, we'll set up a show.
That sounds good. The Monday of the bowl game,
Yep.
we're thinking.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Donnie.
That sounds good.
All right.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Yep, bye-bye.
Yeah, always good to talk to Don. Always,
Yeah.
always.
You said you couldn't afford him. That ends the
he's
negotiation.
Yeah, he's absolutely
And
right.
that ends the negotiation right there, right?
Yeah.
Done. You're right. We can't.
If he's our Miller Moss, he ain't coming here.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know if Miller Moss is the answer. If it cost you Brendan Sullivan, I mean, from what I've seen, I think Miller Moss maybe looks a little better than Brendan Sullivan as a passer.
Oh, he is.
But he also was throwing to USC wide receiver.
But he doesn't run as well as Brendan.
But doesn't run as. But he's not Cade.
No, he's not.
So he can move a little bit, but I don't know. We'll see. But my guess is, if those others, I just don't know if Iowa's going to have the money
We might not.
because I've heard some crazy things, as much as $3-4 million just for the year.
Oh,
I don't want Iowa spending that kind of money. Would
and I
you?
don't think we can.
I don't think they can either. Yeah. So.
Well, why don't we take our break, and then we'll be back with Lord knows what. We'll talk to you shortly.
1-800-800-ROSE. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist is the only number you need to know to send flowers anywhere in the country or Canada from anywhere in the country. 1-800-800-ROSE. It's so easy. Just remember one number. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist. 1-800-800-ROSE. Remember.
Back in 1947, when young Willa Dickens began as a watchmaker at Harty and Stocker Jewelers, the sparse utility of the war years was ready to give way to the cheer of color in fashion, furniture, and of course, jewelry. Women from Hollywood starlet to housewife glowed with colored gemstones on ear, neck, and hand. Ruby red and emerald green, blue sapphire, purple amethyst, topaz, citron, aquamarine. Often these beauties were received heavily in a Harty and Stocker box. Now, as in those distant days, colored gemstones are again bringing cheer and joy. So come see what's sparkling in those famous windows at Harty and Stocker Jewelers, corner of Dubuque and Washington in downtown Iowa City. Then step inside and say hi to Willa, Terry, Tim, or Kate. One of them is always there.
Don't wait for an emergency to get a backup for your car keys. Unlike the olden days, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's eKeys for Cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys that are on the market today. For spares and lost keys, Mike's eKeys for Cars can produce most conventional transponder, high security, and remote head keys. Mike's eKeys for Cars will keep you on the road. Call 319-330-9185 and schedule an appointment today. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 319-330-9185 today.
Hi, this is Jill Sterner with Sterner Taxidermy in Lone Tree. It's hunting season again, and I'm inviting all of you hunters to follow us on our Facebook page. You can view Dirk's award-winning artistry, his workmanship that he completes with each individual piece. We can be reached at 319-330-1774. Again, 319-330-1774.
Are you tired of living in a home that doesn't quite meet your needs? Then it's time to call the experts at Streets Maintenance. Their team of skilled professionals specializes in renovations and remodeling, transforming your home into the space you've always dreamed of. From kitchen, bath remodels to complete home renovations, no job is too big or too small. Streets Maintenance will work with you every step of the way to ensure your vision becomes a reality. So don't wait any longer. Call Streets Maintenance to schedule your consultation at 400-4483. Let's start building your dream home today.
Looking for the perfect place to host your next private party? Tavern Blue on the Coralville Strip offers your guests the ideal setting that seats up to 80 people for special events ranging from retirement parties, birthdays, University of Iowa departmental parties, dinner rehearsals, corporate events, graduations, baby showers, reunions, and fundraisers. Forget the bland, lifeless hotel ballrooms. Tavern Blue offers 4 private party packages featuring delicious foods, amazing drinks, fun entertainment, a large venue, and easy booking. For more information on your next party room, drop by Tavern Blue on the Coralville Strip or contact them on their website, tavernblue.com. Eat, drink, and play at Tavern Blue.
There's a problem here in eastern Iowa. There's not enough Hawkeye fans. I mean, really, shouldn't everybody be a Hawkeye fan? Well, maybe not, but you should be a fan of my team at Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Hi, I'm Steve Anderson, and my team of experts at Hawkeye Title and Settlement know what they're doing. Call us at 351-8600. Hawkeye Title and Settlement, the team you love, the people you trust.
It's that wonderful holiday time of the year. Moments of eating too much, spending time with family, or in some cases, maybe trying to avoid family. However you choose to celebrate, the Diamond Dental team of Dr. Forbes, Kate, Michelle, Michaela, and Kim would like to wish everyone a happy, healthy, and safe holiday. Here's hoping you enjoy every moment of this joyous time of the year. Rest assured, Diamond Dental is here, providing superior care for your entire family during the holiday season and all year long.
This is Leah Pasha, and I've been saying, hit a deer, call Premier, for years. But it's time for something new. It's still where you need to go for deer divots and door dings, as well as damaged dashboards. That's what my dad Nathan's driving at and dreams about. Why not say, when your car is dinged, be a deer and call Premier? I think Dad's going to love that. Premier Automotive, North Liberty's premier auto body repair shop.
Be a deer and call Premier Auto Body in North Liberty.
Diamond Dream Sports Academy, 20,000 square foot indoor facility, holds 8 batting cages, space for infield work, space for throwing and pitching and all your arm care needs. Offers private instruction, group lessons, camps and clinics, leagues, memberships. Rentals available at Diamond Dreams is open to the public.
Our top level instructors include former professional, college, and Olympic athletes. Our coaches will help these athletes achieve their full athletic potential, develop a strong work ethic, and a solid base to build. The last thing you want to do is look back and wish you had worked or played harder.
Locally owned and established in 2005, Diamond Dreams is Eastern Iowa's premier training facility. Located at 2905 Stoner Court, North Liberty. Call today and reserve your time. 319-665-2173. 319-665-2173.
When you go to a family restaurant, you want 3 things. 1, a wide selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. 2, you want those selections to be affordable and delicious. And 3, you want to be treated like family. You get all 3 at the Midtown Family Restaurant. Breakfast items available anytime the doors are open. Legendary tenderloins, onion rings, and hot roast beef sandwiches. And special ribeye and shrimp nights. Daily specials at each location. And no matter if you're coming in solo or with a group of 20, you get the same special family treatment. The Midtown Family Restaurants at Court and Scott Streets and at the Walmart Plaza on Highway 1 West. Follow them on Facebook or at midtownfamily.com. The family's waiting for you. GT Carr, owner of Supple's Building and Remodeling, has been offering unmatched service and quality for over 25 years. The trained professionals at Supple's Building and Remodeling will install and guarantee the products used in any job, no matter how big or small. They also stand behind their work and offer no-nonsense, exceptional customer service from design to completion and beyond. Whether it's a simple window replacement or a major house addition, you'll have the confidence that Supple's Building and Remodeling is committed to quality. Visit supples.net or call them today at 319-337-2246.
When someone is kind enough to share their time with us, we better make it worth their while.
They don't want to do people call it the game, right?
Patrick Gades and Terry Adams of Dairy Brothers Ford talk about what here for you means to them.
You don't have to spend a half a day in our dealership to get that good competitive price. We just want to try to deliver that to you up front.
And that makes me feel good, makes me proud.
Because that's what people want. They want a fair, honest deal.
As far as a statement here for you, we want to not just say it, but live it.
Find out what it means to you. at Deary Ford in Iowa City.
Hi, this is Tiffany at Senior Benefits. Are you confused with Medicare questions, anything having to do with Medicare? I take care of all Medicare customers, people under 65. I also do life insurance, long-term care, cancer insurance. I'm here to help you navigate any questions that you may be having or frustrations and anxiety that you may have with Medicare or insurance in general. Give me, Tiffany Rao, a call at 319-631-4795.
Hi, this is Bill Leixenring from the Oxyoke Inn. The Oxyoke Inn is now serving daily. Our Oxyoke family is ready to serve you with the same quality of food and service you've come to trust since 1940. Now serving lunch, dinner, banquets, and carry-out daily with 4 portion sizes. Sundays featuring our famous brunch buffet. You can also order curbside carryout and pies to go online and take the comforting taste of the Oxyoke home to your family's table. Visit oxyokeinn.com for hours, menus, reservations, carryout, specials, and gift cards. From our Oxyoke family to yours, we can't wait to see you again soon. Oxyoke Inn, in the heart of Amana.
From the Harty and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Harty and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
We are going to keep warming things up here through the weekend, but we do have another shot of cold air that's going to kick in by the middle of next week. Today, sunny. We'll get to 35 this afternoon. The wind out of the southwest at 5 to 15. Tonight, 22. Tomorrow, sunny, 48. Then on Sunday, partly cloudy with a high of 53. It's going to be a nice day Sunday. 48 Monday. Highs back in the 30s by Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Temperature now 24.
KCJJ weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply, kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
We're back.
Yeah.
That weather forecast sounds pretty good.
It does.
He's impressed by my sweat. You know, I feel like I've just given up. I got sweatpants on. I don't.
Oh.
You know, not that I was a dress horse before, but
I'm wearing sweatpants.
Yeah.
I wear them every time in here.
Yeah.
But I have given up, so maybe.
I'm a real man. I wear jeans.
Well, if I could get the jeans over my big fat leg and my.
Well, I wear jeans when I have to be out, and here it doesn't count. I mean, you know, I don't care what I look like here. But if I have to go cover something, I'll wear jeans.
Fair enough.
You know, cargo pants. Even got a pair of cords I'll wear every once in a while. Here, sweatpants and shorts.
Somebody comes in and says, where's the owner of the station?
He's that guy in the sweatpants.
Yeah, Jesus.
I said that you look like you're ready to grapple. You know, you're kind of down in that grapple position.
I've grappled.
Yeah.
I grappled the last time.
But
all right.
Where did this weather come from? Was this always been out there? This was coming? I did not realize this.
Yeah, but then it's going to get cold.
Well, I know it's going to get back down in the 30s. It's mid-December. Yeah. I mean, that's still pretty good for.
No, this is pretty normal.
No,
isn't it? Isn't this normal for December?
53 is not normal for December.
No, but this isn't 53.
No, today's going to be 35. What's the normal high for December? What is today? The 8th, 7th, 6th?
6th.
I'm guessing it's probably high 20s, low 30s. The average. But 53 on Sunday and 48 tomorrow.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I know, but it's going to be so nice tomorrow. You almost want to go outside, but then there's so much sports on. Plus, you got the Iowa men playing at 1. Got to cover that.
Iowa men at 1.
At this time, the daily 33.
Okay, so today's a little
rarely falling below 15 and rarely exceeding 56.
Well, the 53 is going to be 48 and 53 are going to be really nice for December.
Yep, so we have the men at 1 on Saturday and the women at 6, and both of them will be challenging games.
Yeah, I mean, without question. I mean, this is not Pat Summit, Tennessee by any means. No, they're not even ranked. They are undefeated. They have a new head coach. I'm actually when I get home, I'm going to post both advances for the men and women. And Michigan's got a new head coach, Dusty May. Looks like Tom and Terry Brands, if you haven't seen him.
He does a little bit.
And Michigan's pretty good. I mean, and he's a good coach. That's going to be a tough one. If it was in a Carver, I'd give Iowa a much better chance. Would I be shocked if Iowa won? No, but it's going to be a tall order. Iowa's not been 2-0 in the Big Ten since 2015-16, so it doesn't happen very often. And we'll see. I mean, that would be a huge win if they could start out 2-0 and then go back and play. Then they've got, of course, Iowa State and then 2 very winnable non-conference games. But, boy, to have that 2-0 start. The best thing is, though, they avoided 0-2, which they haven't been able to do recently. They've had a lot of 0-2s and 0-3s recently, but they avoided that with Josh Dix's incredible shot. So now we'll see. My gut feeling says Michigan. My gut feeling is Michigan wins because it's there.
Probably.
And I just think they're a decent team.
They are. And Iowa has a decent team. We haven't been completely healthy all year.
And won't be. And I don't
won't
think,
be Saturday.
Fran's doing his Zoom here in about 20 minutes. Well, we'll post his Zoom thing up when I get home. But my guess is what Fran says today about like Seydoux may be different by 1 o'clock. There's still more time to heal.
With an ankle, yeah.
And if Seydoux isn't playing tomorrow, I don't know if Fran necessarily has to tell us that today.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his call. And so we'll see. I was surprised Seydoux was moving around as well as he was just on the sideline because I mean, it hasn't been that long since he injured, and that was a severe turn. So we'll see. But no, it's going to be an interesting.
So Seydoux, is he even shooting yet or anything?
I haven't. I don't know. I mean, I haven't see what Fran says today. I don't know what he's been doing in practice, and but no, when Fran said he would be a game time decision, I remember saying to myself, "There's no way he plays against," and he didn't.
Yeah.
There's no way that ankle would have healed that fast. So we'll see.
And then for the women, of course, Lucy's knee is a big question mark.
She'll play. I mean, Jan basically said on Monday that she'll play. In so many words, you don't say it. You say, I mean, it's one of those things you can't say it with certainty because hell, she could trip and fall and
break it open. Again.
But she did say that. And Lucy wasn't. The knee was all she had. She had like a big Band-Aid on it. It wasn't wrapped or anything. So no, she'll play. I would be stunned if she didn't play unless she suffered some kind of setback in practice, which I have not heard anything to indicate that. But no, she'll play. She'll play. And like I said, this Tennessee team, they're big, they're athletic, they shoot a ton of threes, but they're not world beaters by any means.
They like to press a lot, and that'll be interesting.
Well, 48% of the shots they take are from three. Yeah. So you live and die by that. If they're hot, Iowa's probably going to lose. If they're not, Iowa's probably going to win. Yeah. If you rely that much on three-point shooting,
for sure.
That's to me, that's not a way to go about doing it. But we'll see.
Hello.
Did Lucy have stitches?
I don't know.
Yes.
I would assume she did with something that deep.
She did.
And what exactly was it? She banged her knee on a railing or something?
Well, you heard.
Well, I've got it on Twitter. She tripped and hit some piece of tile. I didn't. Did Iowa never?
That's right. It was a tile. I kept thinking it was a banister.
Yeah, is that message board stitches? I assume she got stitches.
No,
but
that's what she said.
Yeah, there's been no official report.
That's what she said, that she got stitches.
Oh, on the video?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because I posted the video. I just don't remember her saying anything about stitches. But yeah, something that deep, you're gonna probably get stitches.
Now, when they played over in Cancun, didn't they play in ballrooms that they fixed up to be
I believe so. Yeah,
gymnasiums?
I believe so, yes.
So they wouldn't be very big.
No. Well, there's probably not a lot of
people.
There
weren't a lot of people either.
I'm sure there's not a lot of people in Cancun waiting to go.
No, and I've already seen why there's not a lot of fans follow, because it's really freaking expensive. No, it's expensive.
Oh.
I mean, it just really is expensive. The plane flights. Everything else was very reasonable.
Now, tonight, the wrestlers, they wrestle Princeton and then Army. You think they'll have any trouble?
God, if they do, then
if they do, it'll be a long season.
Yeah, no.
I was going to say.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Well, I'm not sure about Teamer. I don't know how long he'll be out. If he pulled a hamstring, he could be out the whole time.
Great to play football.
Yeah.
35. I mean, this would have been fine.
Well, 35 would be great. Yeah, this morning was chilly.
Yeah, but you don't play in the morning.
No.
Well, sitting in 35 for too long can get cold also.
It can.
No, but when I walked outside this morning to take the trash, I'm like, wow, it's a lot warmer today. The chill was gone. You could just feel it. It just felt different.
Of course, I sat in my sleeping bag, and that was warm.
There you go.
Well, you did it right.
But you can't get up and move very far. You can stand up and sit down. That's it.
Well, that's the way to go, though. You did it right.
Okay, well, you guys have a good day.
Thanks, Karen.
But no, Lucy, she'll play.
I hope so. I like watching her play. And I liked watching Leah Guyton play in Cancun.
Yeah, I didn't.
It was exciting.
Yeah, I didn't watch that because I don't.
Most people didn't.
You pay. Yeah, I mean, she made a couple threes. She did have a few too many turnovers.
She had a few turnovers, too. Yep, she did.
But, yeah, I don't know how much she's going to play in crunch time in big games yet. I'm not sure if that was more just to kind of get her feet wet a little bit. We'll see.
Good question.
I mean.
Well, she needed to play.
Well, I asked Jan about her playing point guard and moving Lucy to off the ball because I still think that's where Lucy's best. And Jan says they're not there yet. They're not ready to do that yet, but it is something that they will definitely consider depending on how I think Aaliyah develops, is what she was sort of saying. Because it'd be nice for Lucy not have to play point guard all the time.
It would, and it was nice to see Leah knock down some threes, too. That was a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, Jan keeps saying that the schedule is getting harder. It is getting harder, but they still, to date, still haven't played a real good team, and Tennessee is not a real good team. Iowa State will be the first real good team, and I'm not.
But I don't know if I'd put two reals there.
But they're still fully capable of beating Iowa on a good day. So, and I think Iowa State right now is better than Tennessee, but we'll see. Maybe Tennessee is 6-0, but they're still not ranked, and the people that rank those teams know a lot more about it than I do. So there's a reason they're not ranked. And I'll tell you what, it makes you appreciate how great Pat Summitt was, though. Think about how far how steadily that program has just fallen since she's been gone.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean,
see Vivian at Rutgers. Granted, she wasn't Pat Summitt's level.
No,
at Rutgers, but it's a similar.
But yeah, I mean,
collapse.
Tennessee. I mean, it'll be interesting when Gino retires from Connecticut. I'm guessing you're going to see a similar type of.
I would imagine.
It's just, I mean, what Pat Summitt did there was incredible. But no, like I said, Iowa's going to have to play well to win this game because I'm not convinced is a great team. I mean, I think they have a chance to be a really good team, but Iowa's got some flaws that are going to be exposed at time this year, have not been exposed yet this year. You know, I think point guard depth is one of them. I didn't see, but people told me Taylor Stremlow kind of struggled.
She did.
And with her decision-making and with the ball protection and what have you.
And she didn't penetrate. Aaliyah was able to get into the lane, and Taylor couldn't get in.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I don't think either one of those right now are your long-term solution at point guard. And so then that means Lucy. Now, I do think, like, when Lucy's playing with Sid Falter, Sid can bring the ball up the court, too.
She can.
So it's not always Lucy. Lucy's not like Caitlin, where there were times when Caitlin played off the ball, but you wanted the ball in Caitlin's hands.
For sure.
And whereas, to me, I like seeing Lucy come off cuts and what have you and play off the ball because, I mean, she's got such a good mid-range game. And when you have a good mid-range game, being the shooting guard, to me, it's easier to get shots off. But we'll see. But, yeah, tomorrow, there is so much sports on tomorrow. Just all nonstop all day.
Someone in the chat room.
Is it my nephew?
No, said if Lucy doesn't play, she'll have some splaining to do.
I like it.
I love Lucy.
Oh, okay.
Is that too old for you?
It might be.
I never liked I Love Lucy. I never watched it.
Yeah.
Never did. I was like the Honeymooners. That's something I didn't like.
Honeymooners were not funny.
They're not funny.
No, not at all.
They're mean and not funny.
Yeah.
No, it was not funny.
No, he was just a dick.
I just didn't think it was funny.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
Yeah. Lucy could be funny.
Yeah.
Lucy was funny.
Yeah, it just never worked for me.
I liked when she was pregnant and they still slept in separate beds and she was smoking and drinking.
Different times.
Different time.
Yeah, I mean, at that time, all the doctors smoked.
I mean, you'd go in, the doctor would have a heater in his mouth.
I remember when they banned smoking at UIHC here. And it's probably been 20 years or so. But you'd go by there at noon, and all the doctors would be
There's a cloud of smoke.
Yeah, honest to God. It looked like one of those dry ice machines.
Now it's rare to see people even smoking.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, it's like $11 a pack or something.
It is expensive.
Well, it's $11 or $10 for a 6-pack of domestic beer.
Yeah. I think at the casino down in Riverside, the cigarette machine, $17 a pack.
Jesus.
I mean, what if there's still probably people that smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Aren't they out there? Do you imagine spending $35 a day?
No.
What's 35 times 30?
Well, you know, I mean, you can get them cheaper than $17 a pack. It's
No,
just-
you can get them for like 10, 11. but
Okay,
I
so
mean-
if you smoke 2 a day, that's 30. Okay, 10, that's 20. That's $600 to $800 a month on cigarettes.
Yeah, and then they'll go to you, yeah, I'm not spending all that money on television, you know, because I knew somebody that smoked.
Well, sure.
And he said, God, this cable bill, I had to drop it. And I said, well, I'm thinking of going to YouTube TV. I wouldn't spend all that money
It's
on
the best
TV.
thing I ever did.
I mean, you can get a carton of cigarettes for $30 or $40, can't you?
No.
You can't?
No.
No?
What are they now, like 50,
They're like
60?
60.
What,
about
Jim? 60 to
Yeah,
70?
67.
Wow.
So that's $6 or $7 a pack. That's a chunk.
Hello.
Yeah, I got a question for Pat.
Okay.
Pat, did you make them fajitas?
Yes, I did.
How'd you like them?
They were good. They were good. No, I will do that again. Yeah, no, it was good. Now, I could also do that myself, too, and season it myself, but it's a lot easier just using Hy-Vee's fajita mix. But, no, it was good.
Yeah, that's why I bought so much, because I got one of them, all them things you put air in, and it sucks all the air out, and then you can freeze them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have a wok. Do you guys own a wok? My mom
No.
used to cook with a wok sometimes.
We got a wok.
Yeah, I don't. I may invest in one of those. But, no, it was good. Good suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate it, man.
All right.
You guys be good.
All right.
man.
Thank you.
Loyal listener who was actually at the Hy-Vee meat counter when I was. And he
What's the
popped-
difference between a wok and a slow cooker? What?
Yeah, it's like
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you don't use that much.
See,
oil.
like if you're at like in an Asian restaurant, you'll see them flip. That's the wok. Yeah. Yeah.
And you could get stuck between a wok and a hard place if you're not careful.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I made pot roast last night, and the best thing is I got like half of it still left. I love warmed up pot roast with potatoes,
pot roast is good.
celery, onions, carrots. What do you think of that, Captain?
Yeah, sounds
You're
good.
Captain Sweatpants. That's my
Yeah.
new name for you.
Jesus.
You like that?
Jesus.
You like that, Suter? Captain Sweatpants?
It's okay.
That's what
I'm
we-
more interested. I'm thinking about a roast beef sandwich.
From where?
From you with your
Oh,
leftovers.
the leftovers? Yeah,
Should've
but pot
brought
roast
some in.
doesn't taste the same as roast beef. That's a little different. But actually, maybe I could make it into a sandwich. But it was interesting talking to Don about the Iowa quarterback situation because it's this portal stuff. I am not writing a story about every single player that.
No, you
I mean,
can't.
I did one on Johnny Pescuzzi because I.
You know his
I know,
dad.
but like I know Rusty Van Wetzigen has since come out. I'm not going to just write one on everyone. I'm going to wait and see. Like maybe what I'll do is a compilation after like a week or whatever. It's just too much.
Well, Johnny Pascuzzi came out last year in the portal and
Yeah,
coming back.
but his dad told me last year that he wasn't near as. Now he's in the portal. He's because he's going to be graduating and what have you. He's going to stay in the portal. Last year, his dad told me off the record he's just testing the waters, hoping maybe that he can get a scholarship from Iowa. But he doesn't want to leave. He likes it. You know, he still likes it. He's leaving on good terms. There's nothing
good.
I mean, he said that Kirk told the family that he will do whatever he can to help him. And Johnny's got enough footage to where he can send out a decent film.
I think he'll be fine.
I mean, he played a lot at Iowa.
He did.
He really did.
Hello.
How long do you think Ryan Fitzgerald's going to stick around if he doesn't play next year?
Well, I mean, he obviously he knows he's not going to play next year as a walk-on freshman quarterback. I'd give it 2 years. I mean, usually they give around. They'll basically the first year they'll be like, "Hey, I'm redshirting anyway; it doesn't count." But my guess is if he's just buried on the depth chart 2 or 3 years, unless he just loves being a Hawk, my guess is he'll leave. Don't you? When you,
I would imagine.
That's what I would say with about almost any quarterback.
With the position, the quarterback position, that's what's happening everywhere.
Now there is a
Most
commitment.
everywhere.
The fact that he's coming as a walk-on, that tells you something. You know, that he's committed to Iowa, that he believes in it. I don't know what other opportunities he had, but so we'll see. I mean, he's coming in. Jimmy Sullivan, I give Jimmy Sullivan the same thing. He'll redshirt. He'll adjust next year, and my guess he'll go into his redshirt freshman year, seeing where he is, what's happening, and then after that, then that's when these guys make decisions. I just don't think you're going to see quarterbacks hardly ever staying at a program as a backup for 4 or 5 years. I just don't think that's going to happen much anymore at this level. At this level of football, it's just not.
No, I don't think so either. I
would
expect him to leave sooner than later.
Yeah, I think I think most of them will. Yeah, it's just going to be a revolving door. Iowa, no different than anywhere else.
Okay.
All right.
And that's just the way it is. It's not a great thing to have, but
No,
it's
not.
just that's just the way it is.
It is what it is.
Sound like Bruce Hornsby, but that's it's not going to change though. They're going to constantly be looking for something better because it's so easy now to look for something better. And quarterbacks, only one usually plays.
Yeah.
Hello.
So, hey, Pat, with Cade leaving, do you think that opened up any NIL money that we could use to get somebody in the portal?
Well, I'm sure.
probably.
Yeah, they're done paying him. So, yeah, that means once he's done, that it's like a monthly payment you don't have to make anymore. Like I just recently paid off my car. So there's a certain amount of money that's available there. Yeah, I would imagine it would.
Do you think there's enough there, though, to make it, Iowa attractive? Because, you said yourself, the history of Iowan quarterbacks has not been good.
Oh, no, it's going to be a tough sell. It's going to be a tough
good
sell.
recently, that's
tough
for
sell for a number of reasons. Number one, Iowa doesn't have deep NIL pockets compared to a lot of schools, and the Iowa passing game has been a mess for 4 or 5 years now.
One more question, Pat. When you've gone or done the pressers with Coach, has anybody brought that up to him about the lack of success in the quarterback position and getting them to evolve into something better than they were when they first got here?
Yes, it's been brought up multiple times, and he answers it the way he's going to answer it. I mean, yeah, it's been brought up. I mean, it doesn't get brought up all the time because that's just kind of a storyline narrative that's just been festering. But yeah, he's addressed it at times, and Kirk has a way of answering things where he answers it, but he doesn't necessarily really answer it. But he's also not going to throw people under the bus or stuff like that. But no, it's been addressed. I've asked it. Other people in the media have asked it over the last few years. I mean, when Brian, every Tuesday press conference with Kirk, when Brian was the coordinator, it was not fun. I mean, there was a lot of uncomfortable questions, especially last year.
Yeah, I just never get to see. I don't know if I'm just not looking at the right spots, but I never get to see any of the information except for what you write as far as the pressers go. So I'm never, a little behind on that.
Well, we always put the entire press conference transcript up on Hawk Fanatic. You can just read the whole thing, start to finish, every word he says. It's always up there every week.
Yeah.
We put it up
I
after.
do that, but then I make mistakes and read into things that you don't actually mean, like all the Iowa players getting into the portal.
Well, no, I'm talking about
conversation.
Yeah, that is. I'm just talking about if you want to know what Kirk says, the transcript's always right there. It's available. We put it up the moment that you can always get it for free on Hawk Fanatic, and we do it after games too. The post-game press conferences and his Tuesday press. We always post the entire transcript so you can read exactly what Kirk is saying about every topic.
And it is appreciated.
I need to go to your site more than just watching what you write on Twitter.
Yeah, go to the site more. That's what I mean. I know
it is appreciated.
Yeah, and I will say that we've had. I mean, I'm going to brag for the previous 2 weeks. We had a combined 143,000 page views.
Nice.
Just in 2 weeks, we had just under 86,000 2 weeks ago, and last week we had just under 58,000. And
so one more thing there, Pat. Mr. Captain Sweatpants is actually a character from The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, okay.
There was a guy that was always in the comic book shop, and they called him Captain Sweatpants. So
what do you think of that, Captain?
What do you think of that?
Anyway, you guys have a
all right. Have a good one.
Thanks, man. Go Hawks.
It's gonna stick, Captain Sweatpants.
It's not gonna stick that much.
What do you like better, Captain Community or Captain Sweatpants? I like Captain Confrontation.
God. Yeah,
I like Captain Steve.
Did you hear about him walking out? Have you told him about him walking out?
No.
Wow, you guys, I mean, he got upset at the show and he walked out the other day. And I thought it was because of something I tweeted.
No.
Because they're taking away more of the police report stuff.
Oh, yeah. You did tell me about that.
I'm on Captain's side on this one. I think that information should be made.
Well, it should be.
It should be.
And I handed it off to Greg.
I agree that we should know what's happening in our community.
What pissed me off is that I was played by Tommy, and Tommy thought we got this notice on Monday. I didn't know anything about it. Tuesday, he comes in, he goes on the air and says, well, this is really going to make you mad. Well, why? Why do I have to be mad? I got enough things going on. And, I mean, he meant well for the show, and he wanted to get me pissed off.
Yeah.
And it got me pissed off. And I just finally just...
So you think that was his goal, was to get you pissed off?
He said it was.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Okay. At least he's transparent.
Yeah.
So, but what does walking off do?
I just got fed up with the whole thing, and I just closed the program. I just said,
and
I didn't walk off and leave the studio.
The funny thing, though, Tom, is like an hour before that happened, or half an hour, he had sent me this text message saying, hey, we're getting a bunch of calls about your tweet. And I'm like, what tweet? And then, of course, the lines of communication were not real good because he was on the air. I had tweeted something, a smart-ass tweet about, hey, there's tons of players entering the portal, and
I saw it.
And Iowa fans, even though I didn't put the word Iowa, they thought I meant and it just led to an S-storm on Twitter. I never meant Iowa, so they started. So then I thought, when I heard him just ranting, I'm like, oh my God, is my tweet? I thought it was my tweet that I didn't know about the stuff with the police reports. So there was about 20 minutes where I'm like, oh my God, what is going on?
I didn't leave the show, before I ended.
That's good.
I did when I was at KFMH on Hunter. I got torqued off at Hunter, and I just left, and the studio was bare.
Well, let's point out what really actually sent you leaving. You were mad at me, but it was the guy calling and saying that Tom and Ann should write a song about
that's
it.
That's right. You got
people were like calling with goofy little bits.
You got
Steve
sucked
was not
into
in the
it,
mood for
Suter.
goofy little bits.
Yeah, because the guy called and said, well, kind of doing the little violin thing, like thinking you were whining, right?
Yeah.
And he wanted you and Ann to come up with a song to illustrate his whining.
Yeah, it just pissed me off.
Captain Confrontation.
This whole place pisses me off.
I know.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you love it. It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, it's a lot of hate sometimes. Yeah, you and your dumb tweet.
God, I just never imagined that would do. I still have people lecturing me on that.
Well,
I mean, 3 days later, hey, your job is to cover the Hawks. You should know that when you put a tweet like that, I'm like, okay, I should know. I mean,
well, if it's the same tweet, it was completely ambiguous.
Exactly.
Everybody everywhere is going into the portal.
Yes, but I could have, and like I've said before, and I'll say this again, if I tweet about Iowa football, you know the word that's going to be in there? Iowa.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't in that tweet, but I've had other people say it doesn't matter. You're a Hawkeye.
Started getting calls on it.
Yeah,
and Facebook messages.
I mean, I've had people lecturing me and
why don't you get Pat on the air now? Why aren't you getting Pat on the air? Won't Pat come in?
Well, yeah, I'm just going to drop what I'm doing and just race in there to address a stupid tweet.
Yes.
About every school that has people going into the portal every year.
But
now.
I mean, Tom, some of the lecturing I got on it was just, you're better than this. Well, apparently I'm not. You know?
Why are you better than that?
I'm not better than this. If anything, I'm worse. I could do worse. I could easily do worse if I wanted to.
It was just. So that whole day was, that whole day was ridiculous.
It was, but you got a kick out of thinking of me for 20 minutes, thinking something happened because of that tweet to piss you off that much. Because remember when I told you I thought it was my tweet, you thought that was pretty funny. I did, because I turned you guys on when I got in the car, and it was just, oh my God, what did my tweet do? But
you got to understand, Suter, when you leave,
chaos.
No, it's just me.
And we didn't even make.
I can't. Because Tommy started off like that.
But did we even make fun of them while they were gone?
No.
Did we ever even bring them up this time? I don't think we did.
No, we did not.
We never did.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I don't recall anyone ever making fun of them.
Well, good.
Now, you also didn't send pictures of you and Ann with big tubs of beer, hey, like you do sometimes.
No, we kind of were behaving.
You set yourself up sometimes.
I mean, we had a cocktail or two, but we were behaving.
Yeah, I didn't see like big trough of beer.
No, there weren't.
Big bottle of Seagrams. Hey, party Hawks.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, my Lord.
All right, so the Iowa women's game, Iowa is favored by 2.
Okay, which
I guess we don't know anything about. You don't know.
I mean, that's pretty much saying it's a toss-up.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So,
And this could end up being a good Tennessee team. Just nobody is convinced of it yet because, I mean.
And it could end up being a real good Iowa team. We don't know yet.
How many coaches has Tennessee been through since Pat Summitt? I know they had the one that was just there for like 3 years. I thought they got her from Southwest Missouri State, and it just didn't work out.
Hello.
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, got a question for you. With all this transfer portal and NIL money, let's go back 20, 25 years. Think of all the great Hawkeye stars. Who would have gotten the most NIL money? Tim Dwight? Banks? I mean, who do you think?
I think Tim Dwight would have got a ton.
It's a good question. Yeah, he would.
I think Tim Dwight would have got a ton.
Tavian Banks.
Brad would have gotten a ton, but the thing with Brad, he only had really 1 year where he exploded, so it would have been a limited time. But I think Tim Dwight would have been huge.
What about Chad Greenway, Matt Ross?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, a lot of those guys, yeah. But I think Tim would have been – I think he would have been one of the bigger ones.
And we wouldn't have gotten some of those guys, probably.
Yeah, probably.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, wasn't it when Tim Dwight was being recruited, he was looking at, wasn't Stanford his other choice?
Yeah, but he was going to come here.
Yeah, right. No,
it came down to Iowa, Stanford, and South Carolina, if I remember correctly.
You guys were talking earlier about if Stratton wasn't available. I think there's a defensive back.
Yeah, Ryan Girardi. Yeah, we've mentioned him before, but I mean, that would be
Ryan Girardi.
Ryan Girardi out of North Scott, I believe. Yeah, that would be an emergency option, but they don't want to go there. No knock on Ryan Girardi, but he came here to play D-back. That's not where they want to go.
Well, there's a kid from City High also that was quarterback that's a defensive back, and his name
Drew Larson.
There you go.
But they haven't moved. He's still playing D-back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not that desperate. That's not a knock on Drew Larson, but no, Brendan Sullivan's going to, my guess is he'll start the bowl game and Jackson Stratton will be the backup and Marco will be emergency.
Yeah, okay. All right, fellas. Hey, you know what? One thing I also want to make a comment. I could listen to Don Patterson for hours and hours.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a good dude, isn't he?
I mean, when he breaks down the analytics, it's stuff that I don't even think about, and probably most of the fans don't, but it's fascinating to
It is.
listen.
Why we have him on.
So,
I'll let him know. I'll relay your message, Terry.
That's good to know, Terry.
Yep. All right. Have a great weekend, fellas.
All right, you too.
No, I'm just psyched by the weather. I did not realize this was happening. I woke up today, and I'm like, whoa, it's warm. It got pretty cold the last couple of days.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. It was nasty.
And our screened-in porch, our furniture with the wind the other day, it looked like there was a tornado back there.
Yeah, the wind was strong.
Man.
Yeah, but no, this is unexpected.
We had we got bird feeders, and the birds were fighting to get to the feeder as far as flying against it. Yeah, just flying against the wind.
Against the wind.
Not one of my.
They were flying against the wind.
You like that song?
All Seeger songs are great.
No, they're not.
Great.
No.
Yes.
No.
Bob Seger's one of those guys where I sort of kind of liked a lot of his songs, sort of kind of liked him.
And you buy the greatest hits.
And not even that.
I do have his greatest hits. My favorite Seeger song is Roll Away. That's probably number one. And then after that's probably Fire Lake. Fire Lake and Main Street. Oh, I love Main Street.
Main Street would be my top.
Main Street's probably second behind Roll Away.
Then Fire Lake. All great.
But he's one of those guys, I never bought his music. Not going to now.
Somebody bought his music.
Most of it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of put him in the Tom Petty category. Just everything he wrote seems like became top 40 and everyone loved it.
I like Tom Petty.
I like Petty a little more than Bob Seger, but they both it just seemed like they had a gift for writing songs that people loved.
I've always put Bob Seger in the same group as Mellencamp.
I could see that.
Well, I like Mellencamp.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
I
again,
like 3 of his songs.
He's one of those guys. I've liked some of his songs. But I've never bought any of his music.
I Need a Lover Who Won't. I love that song. And
that is cool.
Ain't Even Done with the Night, and then there's one other. One other one that he did that I like, but his pink houses and all that nonsense.
I'm guessing you weren't a Jack and Diane fan.
Yeah, nonsense.
Ridiculous.
It's a song.
It's nonsense.
You don't like the fact that he was sucking on a chili dog outside the Tasty Freeze?
That's a great song.
Give me Uma
Great
Gooma,
line.
Give me Uma Gooma any day over that crap. Uma Gooma.
Actually, a chili dog sounds good.
What about Uma Gooma?
What about Uma Gooma?
I want you. You should be your Friday night listening tonight. You and Ann, Uma Gooma, while you're sipping on wine.
Yeah.
You'll feel so much better about yourself.
Loading a pistol and getting ready to exit.
But no, I can't believe how much stuff is on
Ace
for
of
tomorrow.
Base.
Ace of Base. I mean, think about it. The men and women both play, and all these football games. You know, like the SEC game though between.
Georgia and Texas?
I don't even care.
No, I don't
even
either.
know how much of it even. I'll watch some of the Iowa State game. That one interests me. I'll watch some of the Penn State.
I might watch some of the Iowa State game.
I'll watch the Penn State Oregon game, but I won't be glued to it. I don't care about either team. I got to have some attachment. But the attachment to Iowa State, of course, is it's Iowa State. It's the other state school. And I'm not going to really be cheering for or against. It'll just be curious to see how they do. And
I have some interest in that game, but I don't know that I'm going to go out of my way to. I might watch it.
I will watch it just for an
not.
entertainment point of view. I just think that game will be more entertaining than Georgia Texas. I don't know. SEC football is. I've been sort of drifting from it. I don't know.
Well, I don't disagree with that stance either. I haven't sat down and watched an SEC game in I don't know how long.
I still watch Notre Dame. I mean,
I understand that.
Notre Dame, they're pretty good.
They are.
And their offense is really explosive. How they lost to Northern Illinois, I don't know. But in a way, maybe that'll help them. Because had they not lost, they'd probably be number 1 or number 2 seed.
But, that's what makes college athletics so interesting.
It is.
There's enough of those kind of upsets where you just don't know.
And if you're a Notre Dame fan, maybe you're saying, well, maybe that loss is why we're where we are now.
And it could very well be.
Maybe it made us a better team. So, yeah, you never know. So, but, yeah, as far as Iowa's, they'll know they're I think Kirk's having a Zoom, I believe, on Sunday after the bowl announcement. But, yeah, I'm guessing it's either Tampa or Music City. You're going either way, aren't you? Either one?
Probably.
Yeah, I've got a stringer down in Nashville that I believe is ready to go, and I don't know. We'll see.
Nashville. What I like about that idea,
it's a 7-hour drive.
Is it's a 7-8 hour drive. I can do that, save some money, get a decent hotel.
Well,
the risk is the game.
Really good.
Yes.
Did you go last year?
I went to the
Did
last.
you go to the 35-0 debacle last year?
No.
Yeah, that's the problem. The risk is sometimes the games just suck.
Wait, yes, we did too go.
Everything else is, everything else is going to live up. The restaurants,
But the Tennessee game, yeah, we went.
But the problem, the game was probably the worst part of your trip.
Oh, it was awful. It stunk.
Yeah, think about how many trips you've gone on. Rose.
I know.
The game ends up just.
Well, my biggest regret of all was going to the Iowa-Arizona game.
In 08, the one in 08, or was it 010?
The one in 10.
10, yeah, I was there too.
And it was expensive, and it
mean,
was hot, and it was mean, and the team sucked, and
the Arizona fans were mean.
They were a-holes.
They were really mean. They were, like I said, they were calling the media pussies. Yeah, you Iowa media, you suck. Stuff like that. I'm like, then I realized, I've got my nameplate. Yeah, F the Iowa media, you pussies. A lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Walking to the stadium.
Yeah, but yeah, we spent thousands of dollars on that, and it was not good.
That was also the one where we had to drive from Denver because we couldn't get a flight. That was a nightmare trip.
Hello.
It really was.
Hello. Hey, guys. Good music talk today.
There you go. Yeah.
We try.
Yeah. Uma Gooma.
Oh, whatever that means.
Hey.
Yeah. You tell him.
Wow, I'm getting ganged up on here.
Hey, what time do the Iowa Wrestlers wrestle tonight in St. Charles?
The Iowa Wrestlers starts at 6 p.m.
And I guess it's on KXIC, I heard.
I have no idea.
That I'm not aware. I'm not sure.
It's on the UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah, I heard that too. No, I'm not putting a plug in for KCJ or.
You don't know what you're listening to, do you? You have no idea what you're listening to.
All right.
Do you?
All right.
Thanks, man.
He took a shot at Umagua.
Took a shot at us.
Yeah, Flights KXIC, our rivals.
Our tense rival.
Our rival in the closet in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah. The Hewlett Packard, man. Or is it a Dill? Who's our... It's one of the...
It's an Acer.
I said this. We used to have disc jockey wars, and now we have to... The only thing we can fight with is a Dell. Jesus.
I like a Dell.
Hey, hi.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Captain Sweatpants.
Go on, push it, and you'll be off the air.
Did you guys report that the A&M quarterback got his 8th year?
Yeah.
Oklahoma State quarterback.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, we were laughing about that earlier.
How pissed off would you be if you were Drew Ott right now? They cost him millions, the NCAA, by not giving him a 5th year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
7 years, no problem.
Times are so different now, yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. I'd be so pissed. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Sure.
great show, gentlemen.
All right. I hadn't thought about that. But, yeah, 8 years. I mean, I think even Cade playing 7. At some point, you got to just move on. Get a job. I mean, Cade McNamara, I don't think he's doing this with – I don't think he's delusional enough to think that, if I just have one good year, I can hope he's not going to play in the NFL.
No, he is not.
He's not even a Canadian football player. Maybe he just wants to keep. But to me, I remember being 25 and 26. It's a lot different than being 18 and 19.
It is.
When I was 25 and I didn't hang out with a lot of 18.
I
and 19.
think he wants to restore his legacy somehow.
But the problem is, though, the risk with that is you can there's a chance you're going to further damage it.
For sure.
I mean, I think he came to Iowa hoping to restore his legacy, and he damaged it. Yeah, no. So we'll
How many
see.
surgeries does he have?
2.
You know, honest to God, I just sprained my ankle and I was going nuts. I can't even imagine. You know.
Yeah, he's had 2
going through 10 months of rehab.
Yeah, I can't imagine, and I can see why he's slow. You know.
And he's not real tall. It's just been a rough.
He doesn't have a good arm.
Yeah, it's just been a rough go for him since Michigan. And in fairness to Michigan, they went with the better quarterback, and it's just been kind of downhill for Cade since then. Iowa gave him an opportunity. Kirk took a chance. It didn't work.
And gave him some
good
money.
I don't know if you were here, but I've said that would be one of Kirk's worst decisions. If you were ranking Kirk's all-time worst decision as the Iowa head coach, obviously making Brian the coordinator and quarterback coach would be number 1, don't you think?
Yes.
I think McNamara would probably be number 2.
And on the surface, it looked like a slam dunk.
It did. It did. I mean, I remember some people were like, he's coming off that knee surgery. And all I remember saying to you guys on here, I remember being Debbie Downer, I kept warning you guys, he won't have the Michigan players around.
Well, and you did
and
say
I kept
that.
saying that over
Repeatedly.
and over. And I think Cade was a product of the system up there more than anything. I think he was in the right place at the right time.
As it turns out,
I think there were a lot of quarterbacks that could have won with that Michigan team.
I think you're right.
So, but we'll see. Like I said, I don't want the guy to be unhappy. I mean,
no, wish him nothing
but the best. But I still think he should have participated in Senior Day. I think that was a bad look. And I can't imagine he's going to be able to draw a lot of NIL money. Would you think?
God, you wouldn't think so, would you?
No, I wouldn't think so. So, we'll see.
I mean, but I don't know. I certainly am not speaking from a position of authority on that. But no, I wouldn't. I would be very leery of selecting Cade as my next quarterback.
I'm sure people are.
At least people in Iowa are.
I'm looking to see if there's any breaking news. You think anyone has entered the portal in the last 2 minutes?
Yeah, probably.
And I'm not just saying Iowa players, listeners. I don't want you to panic. I mean anyone across the country.
So technically, doesn't the portal not open until Monday?
Monday the 9th, yeah. But you can still declare your intentions.
And
the big thing is,
grads can.
These rosters at some point are going to have to be trimmed to 105. That's why you're not going to see near as many walk-ons anymore. The Johnny Pascuzzis and
which is too bad.
Which is too bad. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But I'm not sure how long this I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll see how things go.
Hello. Hello. Jesus.
Hey. Speak or Be quiet. Speak or goodbye.
Your mother's a whore.
What was that?
We don't know.
I don't know.
These are your people.
But it wasn't funny.
Did you say his mom was a whore?
Yes.
Do you know that for a fact?
Yes.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, I
You heard it on the message boards, didn't you?
Yeah, I read
Saw it on Twitter.
Pat tweeted your mother's a whore.
I tweeted it.
Well, why don't you? See
Every
what happens.
mother in America is a whore. Is that what I tweeted?
I think this is it.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Can you log it?
I would like you to tweet that. Your
What?
mother is a whore and see what happens.
Oh, God, could you imagine that? Then they'd say you're better than this, and that's what I would have to remind them that I'm not.
I've been told that all my life. Well, you're better than
And I'm not, though.
Well, obviously, I'm not either.
I've always accepted not being
I
better.
put a picture up of, what's her name, the Arkansas governor, Huckabee Sanders, and I put it next to a picture of Uncle Fester. And
I bet that went over well. I bet you nobody with blue checks attacked you.
This old DJ said, "You know, Steve, you're better than this." And I said,
No.
I've never been better than
Never,
this.
no.
Have you ever listened to me?
I love it when people on X try to lecture you on morals, and you look at their account. I mean, it's so much.
Mega.
There's so many people that talk out of the side of their mouth on that platform.
I have other. I don't even go to read the post.
Oh, I'm not.
I just post and send it to Twitter and
Stay off Twitter
yeah.
and don't watch the news, and actually life's a little more enjoyable.
It really
like I can't remember the last time I had Morning Joe and his little Mika on. They're idiots. They apologized for another guest the other day. He was too mean. Did you hear him apologize for what David Fromm said?
I heard David Fromm was making the circuit, and I heard,
he had been talking about what's his name's drinking, and and they got all paranoid. It's just
who's David Fromm?
He's a guy for the Atlantic.
Yeah, he writes for the Atlantic.
Political commentator.
He's pretty good, actually.
But he's hated by the right. I mean, they absolutely hate him.
Then I'd probably like him.
You would, because and the hated isn't to the far left. Either he's
not far
left.
He's
a centrist.
He's just real.
But he's and he makes the circuit. He's on MSNBC, and then he's on.
But he
was
talked
on
about
CNN after.
But he talked about Hegseth's, reported drinking issues, and for some reason Joe and Mika, like 45 minutes after he was on, apologized. I mean, I don't know, man. They've gone from being the most vocal Trump critics out there. Sometimes I thought they were just way overboard with it because I think they were convinced he was going to lose, and then when he won, now they're scared to death.
Well, what is it when so Hegseth says, "Look, if I'm appointed, I have that position, I won't drink."
Sure.
Well, I'm guessing there's been some Secretary of Defense that have had a beer or a glass of wine.
Of course there have.
Well, I mean, sure, but he.
Yeah.
Listen, when Fox, the people that worked with him at Fox, okay, they have been interviewed, and they said this guy's drunk all the time.
Well, it probably wouldn't be a good choice.
And people at Fox are saying that. They can't say it.
Hey, have they caught the guy who shot the CEO yet?
No,
they have not caught.
But so he had.
You heard about that, didn't you, Suter?
Yes.
He had all this. Yeah, and he was a valedictorian here.
Yeah.
Who?
The guy that got shot.
Brian Thompson. Oh, he went to Iowa.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Iowa. Him and his wife and valedictorian. But anyway, the guy was all covered up, and then he checks into this hostel, and the gal behind the counter is cute and says, "Well, take off your mask," and that's how they got the pictures of him.
Wow,
they were flirting.
Yeah, he was smiling. Yeah,
yeah.
They'll get him. It's only a matter of time. They'll get him. Yeah. I just wonder what his motivation was. Just wonder if like a family member had knee deep in medical.
It would be my guess. Denied medical coverage. I'll bet it is.
Yeah, and then all these people on social media, every platform, are applauding it.
Yeah,
the killing, because people hate the insurance companies.
That's left and right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's some. I unfriended a bunch of people. I'm not going to look at that. I'm not going to cheer for somebody that got shot in the back, and it's terrible.
How old was he?
He's like 40-something.
Insurance companies should not be involved in medical decisions.
Well,
sorry.
Our problem, and I told you this, is as long as we are a profit-driven health insurance industry, we're going to have these problems.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the way it's going to be.
Yeah, well,
it's ridiculous.
But you shouldn't, applaud.
No, nobody deserves to die. I mean, I think we can draw the line at death. Yes, that was unfortunate. So, but like I said, it'll be interesting to see what the motivation is.
Well, he wrote deny and defer or whatever on the shell casings.
So it probably had something to do with medical coverage being denied.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Yeah, or making a statement about it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, what a way to end the Hawk Fanatic. We start with Don Patterson and end with insurance killing. In plain daylight, too.
That's weird.
And it took him a while to get the gun. I mean, he didn't look like he was a real professional at what he did. So, but like I said, I'm surprised they haven't caught him yet, to be honest with you.
CNN gets this one guy on, this consultant, and he says, no, this guy wasn't a professional. And then the next hour they have somebody that goes, oh, this guy was a professional. Jesus. Why don't you just, if you're going to book two guests, why don't you make sure they at least...
Because they're fair and balanced. Oh, no, that's Fox that's fair and balanced, right? What's CNN? What's their motto?
It's all, well, we're sinking. Please watch.
Please watch.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks again to Coach P. A little Friday special here. And, we'll have Don... Good. We'll have Don on probably 3 more times. We'll have him on before the bowl game, after the bowl game, and right around to do a wrap on the whole season. So,
and Pat and I will be back tomorrow morning with the captain.
I reached out to Adam Hluska by email yesterday. Have not heard back from him. I'd like to have Adam on periodically if he wants to talk hoops. I'll wait when I hear from him. I'll let you know. Everybody, enjoy the weather. Have a good weekend.
HawkFanatic.com. Check it out. It's free.
KCJJ Weather brought to you by